Good morning. This is Beaty-Coffey of the Ministry of Uncovered No More. I am working with Elizabeth Barrett Browning's Sonnets from the Portuguese. And I had done quite a bit of artwork with runes spontaneously. And then I finished reading the poem and thought that I was hearing from Great Spirit that I needed to finish it and that I needed to discipline myself, which I'm a highly disciplined person. So it's always suspect if I'm being told in my head to do something. It's always suspect to me. But I am just now to the point where I can actually verbalize it because I'm not wrong. It's just that I've listened to Great Spirit as I've evolved, and that discipline is not necessary. And when you read, if you know the history, slightly the history of the 44 sonnets in Sonnets from the Portuguese by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, what you know is she was falling in love with Robert Browning, and she was shocked that he would actually love her like that. And there's so many reasons for that kind of thing that it's a multi-level meaning group of sonnets. And I don't tack in to the patriarchy side of anything I read. I know it's there. The misogyny, the white supremacy, in her case, with the way her father was, it was an extreme patriarchy that should be illegal. It's a cultishness that should be illegal. But if you owned property, this is still true. If you own property, that's power. In America and in Europe. And her father was a very powerful man. Generational money is also involved. He was not allowing any of his adult children to marry. And my guess would be to maintain all power within the family and to not allow a dissemination of his power through marriage, because that would happen. Because if you married, of course, there was going to be a sharing of everything. That's just my guess. He was a very controlling, ugly, cruel man. And she managed to love him anyway. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff involved with that particular poem cluster. So I say all of that to say this will go in a blog article on that blog, that I am releasing any of the artwork in that book that I haven't already released, and I will throw runes or whatever, get the messages out. But it is not a poem that I am willing to go past the parameters of what she was going through anymore. I can do it. And I actually did, because that woman knew love in a way that is still not recognized, particularly by people who are refusing to remove themselves from the evolutionless cult. Did you hear what I just said? Evolutionless cult of the Protestant, Catholic, and Republican world. Those people do not have a soul. I'm somebody who can actually birth and develop a soul in another individual and make sure they maintain their free will at the time that I'm doing that. If you grew the child in your body as a sorceress, as powerful as I am, you don't have to do that. They automatically know what to do. They automatically have their Gemut, according to Rudolf Steiner. But if you're dealing with people whose souls are dead, and you're a sorceress, the only option you have is to create the soul. I did it first in my mother. And I'm not going to say anything else about the other people that I have created souls for. And then gently, though people who don't understand this concept, and there's millions of them, assume that some of us are taking power or doing this or doing that. They're very defensive. In my mother's case, that's not it. She trusted me. My dad trusted me. My dad actually told me, I trust you more than my son. But that was after he had died, and I didn't really understand why Dad said that, but now I do. But that was in Dad's way of thinking, and the Pentecostals had ruined my dad's mentality. It's really easy to do when you lost your mother and your dad died dead in the street before while you were in the womb, and there's a whole lot of suffering in your family like the Davis Beatty family has. It's really easy to be my dad and just be willing to support, and they destroy people like my dad and mom, and I've got the whole testimony. So don't talk to me. If I speak of the glories of reality to you, shut up, wipe the fucking snot off your nose, and either listen or get out of my life. Because I still am carrying some people that don't understand my abilities of creation of the Gemut. I take no glory for it. I quietly release and I move on. And all 10 of my children are just like their mother. And people use our kind of people constantly. Bully us. It just doesn't even matter. And Elizabeth Barrett Browning was one such, and so was Robert Browning. The poetry coming out of them is so pure and so evolved. Here's what I do. I'm disconnecting from the population because you're so fucking immature that it's beyond my ability. I'm nice because I like friends. I don't think my friends are immature. I'm just talking about a general reality when I say that other thing. And I choose my people carefully. It's none of your fucking business if they're in the 1800s that I'm listening from and can actually understand them. The real them. Okay, so back to me and my abilities. I determined that the 44 sonnets are problematic because of patriarchy in this country, little A America, today. Nobody's going to get the messages that I can actually give about love that isn't about heterosexuality. Y'all are still beating up homosexuals. I don't even want to talk about trans people, okay? Stay away from me. There's so many fucking issues with that. It's like one of my close-ups that I trust people is like, it's a very small minority of the population. And, here's the thing is people are used to using social media to drum up stupidity to just spend time on every day. And God bless them all dealing with transsexuality. I'm not against them. I'm against the people that are hating on you, okay? But the issue is a small part of the population. You know, I kind of am there for the people that are hungry within a 50 mile diameter of where I live, of where I'm actually sitting right now. Why are they hungry? What is the government not doing that they should be, that they can't get proper food? And stuff like that. Universal issues has always been my bent, and I'm having to therefore make sure that I take my authors with me and stay in the, okay, here's how the king himself through social media got me to understand what I'm doing. Because I'm doing it, he just has to, from a distance, get me to understand it. Golly, I hate to do this to he and I because we've been through so much. I'm just going to say this. There are concepts in the Star Trek, all of the Star Trek series, that are relevant to Tribe Judah. And that's all I'm going to say. And so he gets to choose which captain he is in Tribe Judah. He knows it doesn't matter to me. He honestly knows that, and he's always known that. If you want a really good manifestation of Galadriel and her older brother, Archangel Michael, it's the younger Galadriel series. Her brother dies. That's my brother Patrick, and he's even blonde-headed like my brother. I can tell you right now, I've suffered through everything that woman suffers through, and I haven't even watched it. And you can be damn sure I can't, because I've already lived it. Elizabeth Barrett Browning is sitting here with me, nodding her head. Yes, Kara, let's move on. You need to read Robert Browning's piece now. Please. We need to move on. And they're holding hands in the back seat, and I'm pretending. They're the ones guiding me. They're a guiding light in my life. And there are reasons for that. That is none of your business. Now I'm going to move on with my day, close my enjoyment of that poem, of that set of poems, and you can be damn sure I'll revisit it. That's what I love about my books, is I put all kinds of beauty in it, and then I come back and I remember my beauty. I don't remember this video. I remember the actual book and my actual books and how hard I've worked and played as a bookmaker. It doesn't work to me. I sliced up some tomatoes and used some of my lovely basil and put a little basil flower bouquet on my table, and I know somebody very special in my life who likes, basil chopped up with a little olive oil and stuff on the tomatoes, and it's there for that person. Yes, the king himself and the people that work with him, we are Gamut creators, and if you want to understand that, you're going to read every single book of Rudolf Steiner, but not the king. He doesn't need to do that. Not my brother. He doesn't need to do that. On the archangel side, what I'm doing is fighting for the true reality of the three archangels known in the Bible: Michael, Gabriel, and Lucifer. That's day to day. I now have 3 black backpacks, and I'm trying to figure out the aura of each right now. But what you're going to see me publicly doing is Evangeline by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. That's on another blog. And thank you to the family of the Barrett Brownings in the heavenlies and on the earth. Y'all are lovely people. And soon I will be turning to Mr. Robert Browning's soul. It's the tragedy of the soul, I think. Oh my goodness. It's going to make me sail away. This is Beaty-Coffey, a ministry of uncovered no more.